Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. I did a video, I don't know, 2 videos ago, talking about the State of the Union. Let's pay attention to who is not going to be there.
No, 100%, and that's exactly what President Trump can do, because this is the message that Republicans are going to take out to the midterms. The notes in which he echoes tonight will be exactly what you hear Republicans say on the stump. And you keep in mind, this is a president that's going to be out there. It's almost as if he was running for election. They're going to have him on the campaign trail. I'm expecting the president to deliver in a way in which the American people expect him to, presidentially, and tell them what's in it for them. What has he done over the course of a year? And I can tell you, he's accomplished a great deal cleaning up the mess of Joe Biden's presidency, but there's much more to be done.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the short list so far. It'll be interesting to see who winds up saying that they're not going to go to the State of the Union tomorrow night on the Democratic side. Who knows? Maybe there might be even some Republicans. I doubt it, but Democrats probably. There'll be more announcements. And one of the reasons that I find the State of the Union so interesting is because what could happen. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about snapshots and sound bites. The best way to make an example of people is to make it public. 100% public. And the most public day, probably in theory, is the State of the Union. So, who else isn't going to be there?
It's incredible to me that it appears to be that the Democrats are so angry about President Trump's success. He's been so successful on so many levels and has done things so fast that now the Democrats are boycotting. Some of them are boycotting the State of the Union. Adam Schiff, Mr. Russia collusion himself, said he's not going to show up to the State of the Union tomorrow night, Congressman. We'll be watching that one.
So there you go. Old Shifty Shift ain't going to be there, right? It's so interesting that he's not going to be here because he was part of the January 6th committee. And we know how weird that situation was as a whole, not just the committee, but as a whole. So let's hear what he has to say on why he's not going to be there.
Donald Trump is violating the law and Constitution. He is ignoring court orders. He has weaponized the Justice Department to go after his enemies. He is letting loose ICE troops in our streets that are getting people killed. I will not be attending the State of the Union. I've never missed one. I have always gone both to inaugurations and to States of the Union, but we cannot treat this as normal. This is not business as usual. I will not give him the audience he craves for the lies that he tells. I'll be outside the Capitol with Midas touch and move on for the people's State of the Union, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that I find interesting about the State of the Union is this right here. The constitutional baseline. Article 1, Section 6 gives members of Congress protections from civil arrest only while attending, traveling to, or returning from Congress. That protection does not apply to treason, felony crimes, breach of peace, long interpreted as courts of all criminal offenses. Key takeaway: there is zero constitutional immunity for crimes, including at the State of the Union. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's just put it in hindsight. If I was somebody, and I think about this because I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but it was a president. It was a love story, right? But the guy was playing the president, and he said, you want to come after me, but you leave so and so alone, blah blah blah. It was a big speech in the movie. So if I was Trump, or if I was somebody that dealt with exactly with what Trump has dealt with since he came down the escalator saying he was going to run for president the first time. Keep in mind all the Epstein files. Well, I can't say all, but the Epstein files came out. So you have all kinds of people in there that took money from him who knows what other connections there are. Remember, when Pam Bondi was talking about Epstein in the hearing, she was asked a question, I can't remember by who, but she was asked a question about the fact if there is other investigations going on, and she could not say yay or nay. I have the clip, but I just don't know where it is right now. But ladies and gentlemen, this is just kind of the day before the State of the Union. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, including Mexico with the cartels. I have family members that live in Mexico that are in real bad situation. Yeah, well, you know, there's that. So back to the State of the Union. Ladies and gentlemen, the State of the Union is interesting. Who controls order inside the House chamber of the State of the Union? This is where the Sergeant at Arms comes in. The House Sergeant at Arms is the chief law enforcement and protocol office for the House. Their authority includes maintaining order and decorum on the floor house, enforcing House rules, executing House arrest and detention orders, rare but constitutional. Coordinating security with United States Capitol Police, the Secret Service for the President, federal law enforcement, FBI, U.S. Marshals, etc. Important distinction: the Sergeant at Arms does not override criminal law. They coordinate, not block lawful arrests. So keep in mind, who knows, maybe there's a lot of sealed indictments that just might become unsealed all of a sudden. Who knows, maybe tomorrow, maybe before the State of the Union. I don't know. If it was me, that's how I would do it. I would make it as public as possible, and the place that is so public is there at the State of the Union, because it's viewed by millions and millions of people throughout the whole entire world, including our adversaries and or our friends. So, keep that in mind. Snapshots and sound bites. Can a member be arrested during the State of the Union? Yes, legally. And here's how it would actually work. Scenario 1, resisting arrest warrants, felonies, big crimes, okay? Federal law enforcement, U.S. Marshals and FBI has authority. Capitol Police would coordinate entry and removal. Sergeant at Arms ensures order in the chamber, compliance with the House protocol, no interference by members. The members can be removed and arrested while Congress is in session. Ladies and gentlemen, if it was me, that's what I would do. I would make it visible for everybody in the world, especially in the United States, because there's a lot of people that don't have any faith in anything that's going on. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, it could happen. Will it happen? Yeah, probably not. But in theory, the Constitution says that this is the best option to clean house on this shit show that we've been dealing with for decades. But it's very visible to everybody now because it's everywhere. And it is videotaped by citizen journalists, reported on, by people such as myself and Benny Johnson, Dan Bongino, which Dan Bongino is the reason why I do What If News to begin with. Not because he had any funding to do with it, but because of an episode that I heard back in 2020 when this first thing happened with this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, could it happen? Sure. Will it happen? Who knows? It depends how public people need to make it in order for people around the world to understand that this is done. People all over the country are getting arrested from, information within the Epstein files. There's a lot of United States politicians and very bigwig people throughout the whole entire country that are in those Epstein files, including Trump. But at least we know for a fact that Trump in 2008, he was the one that kicked him out. 2006, that's when, I think, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. And it was because of Trump that he actually wound up getting arrested. That was 25 years ago, something like that. People, the more you know, the better off you are. And always be prepared. No matter what, on all aspects of everything, be prepared. God bless each and every one of you.
Trump just brought peace to the Middle East. He's already racked up 8 peace deals, trillions of dollars of investments, and trade deals.
We have $18 trillion invested in this country. Nobody's ever had anything like it.
This is history in the making. No one else but President Donald Trump could do this. This is what peace through strength gets you. This is what a respected United States will bring around the world. It is a stabilizing force.
We're reestablishing deterrence, whether that's at the border, whether it's through Golden Dome, what happened with Midnight Hammer and what Iran found out, those drug boats, and of course the Houthis opening up the shipping lanes. American strength is back on the world stage.
The world is back to looking at America as the leader. We have the peace through strength doctrine. We have the hostages at home. We are respected again. We are not seen as weak. Our adversaries know that they are to be on watch, and our allies know that we are there for them.
People know Donald Trump is going to do what he says he is going to do, whether it is Cuba, Iran, and Venezuelans.
We're witnessing a historic presidential legacy being written in real time. The only question now is, how big?
2.5 million illegal immigrants leaving the U.S. over the past year, nearly 600,000 arrests, over 600,000 deportations, nearly 2 million voluntary self-deportations, and get this 8 months of zero releases at the border.
President Trump's border policies are serving as a deterrent at the U.S. southern border, as illegal crossings have hit another record low.
It is an undeniable fact that illegal crossings at the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline.
ICE says they can finally do their jobs.
This is truly an extraordinary turnaround at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Because President Trump is sitting in the Oval Office, every American put their head on the pillow tonight, knowing the Border Patrol's on that border, stopping all threats coming across. Most secure border in the history of this nation. ICE agents and FBI agents are working 24/7, 365, every hour of every day, taking public safety threats and national security threats off our street. Sleep well, America, because we're keeping America safe. If you think we're doing good now, you just wait till this coming year.
Please wiped out. We have a evacuation of all counties. I report complete devastation. We have a giant squall, cloud, gobbling up everything in the path. This is a total loss of life.
There are forces in this world that remind us of how fragile we are. We thought we were safe. We thought it could never happen to us. Then life like a fog descends upon us, blanketing our memories. Through the haze, we travel its hidden paths, lost in its secret places. And when the storm, turbulent and immovable, forces us to shelter, we remember. It calls to us, calls us back. Back to the ports and the harbors of our past. We fight the currents that pull and drag us off course, not a light or star to chart the way. And when we arrive, we don't always know it at first, the places we once loved guised by time. Then we see it, the place we've been trying to get back to. Safe at last, we've found our way home.